Hello, YouTube. Greetings from the Pfister house, where Carson and I are just chilling. Today's Kingdom song. Well, its original 1984 melody is really far too difficult for your average congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses to sing successfully, but that's kind of normal for a Kingdom melody. It seems to be heavily influenced by 1950s and 60s musical theater, as usual. It has weird grammar, some unnecessary punctuation, piercing high notes, and way too many words. Like way too many. But don't they all? The song is called Welcome One Another. It was introduced in the 1984 songbook as song number 155, and that's the version I'm singing today. It was altered in 2009 and became song number 118, which we will also listen to today. And it is still around in the 2017 songbook, and it is song number 85 there.
Welcome one another as Christ Jesus welcomed you.
Wait, you got a personal welcome from Jesus Christ? Because if I were to welcome others the same way he welcomed me, that's like not actually a welcome at all. Like, I'd never speak to him, ever. I'd not be there.
Since Christ died for your brother, surely he is welcome too.
Okay, their grammar's killing me here. Are they saying that Christ is welcome because he died for your brother? Is this a religion or a street gang?
So let those who are strong mature support those who are weak.
What does it mean to be strong mature? Or is that mature support? How do you mature support someone? Is that depends? Supporting those with weak bladders kind of makes sense, but somehow I don't think that's what they were going for here. And another thing they probably didn't mean here is helping those who are literally weak. Because they are most definitely not talking about charity. Not ever. They mean spiritually weak, which means to them not attending enough meetings or going out in service or placing literature or conducting Bible studies or whatever.
Help them to make their hope secure as righteousness they seek.
How does one go about helping someone secure their hope and seek righteousness? If you already know where the righteousness is, as you supposedly would if you were strong mature, why wouldn't you just tell them where it is instead of playing silly games? Oh, and hope isn't secure by definition. Hope is defined as a feeling of expectation, kind of like Carson has at mealtime, and desire for a certain thing to happen. Expectation, desire. These are not sure things, which I guess Carson does know we're going to feed him. But generally, hope is what you want to happen. It's not what you know is going to happen. People have their hopes dashed every damn day, particularly if they're Jehovah's Witnesses. So the idea of a secure hope is kind of an oxymoron.
For things aforetime written by God's prophets long ago can through our firm endurance cause our comfort hope to grow.
Aforetime means previously. It's an archaic word that really is superfluous in this line because obviously if a prophet wrote something long ago, it was written before now or, previously. This sentence is such a grammatical nightmare that I think we might need to do a translation on it. A prophet wrote things a long time ago. Previously. And if we firmly endure something. No, I don't know what. Our comfort hope will grow. What's a comfort hope? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. I have no idea why previously written things would make it grow or why endurance is required or even what we're enduring. Does anybody understand this?
Then let us always try to please not just ourselves alone, but view our brothers' interests as though they were our own.
Oh man, the brothers love this, let me tell you. Jehovah's Witnesses are always on about this, from the platform anyway. Always trying to please, and really, it's not just about pleasing yourself. The truth is that you're not supposed to please yourself at all in any way. Everything is about other people and what they might think, how they might feel, whether they might gossip about you and ruin the only little bit of social life you're allowed to have. And viewing our brothers' interests as though they were our own, nobody actually does that. I'm not even going to go into the truly clunky and ridiculous word choices here. I mean, this is just awful songwriting is what this is. Now, in 2009, they drastically changed this song. They changed the melody and took out like half the words. Not a bad idea overall, but the result is super culty and sleepy in an almost hypnotic way. I kind of find it disturbing. You want to hear it? Oh, come on, you know you do. Here's verse 1. They reduced this verse by half at least. But it's not exactly an improvement, is it? They did away with Jesus completely, and with him went helping the weak and viewing our brother's interests. What is the life-giving truth being offered here, and why exactly should we be thankful for it? I mean, think about what their actual message is. Armageddon is coming, and 99.9% of the world's population is going to be slaughtered before your very eyes. So, PTSD. And then you get to clean up their splattered remains. Yay. Oh, but your loved ones who have died, provided they were witnesses, of course, because if they weren't, you're just shit out of luck. They'll be resurrected and you'll get to see them again. But odds are, if you're a new convert, either your dead loved ones aren't going to be resurrected at all because they weren't Jehovah's Witnesses, or if they happen to die having never heard of a Jehovah's Witness, they'd presumably be resurrected with a lot of questions. Like, where's the rest of the family? Why does the lady in the floral polyester dress have a basket of fruit on her head? Where are we? Why are there no grocery stores? Look, we could do this all day. Let's get back to 1984.
Jehovah God is gathering men who will learn war no more.
So why is he gathering men, and why does this have an apostrophe in the middle? Is he focusing specifically on the armed forces? Because most men who are going to be gathered by the Jehovah's Witnesses are civilians, and they aren't learning war anyway. Unless they're playing Call of Duty or something, and I'm not sure that counts. What is he gathering them for? And why isn't he gathering women too? Or did he decide there were already enough women in the organization? I have questions, people.
The time has come for his dear son, peace earthwide to restore.
Holy crap, this is hard to sing. Too many words, too many high notes. And you know what? I honestly don't think there has ever been earthwide peace. I mean, the only way that could really happen is for there to be no living things on Earth. There's always going to be conflict of some kind, and when it's handled appropriately, that's actually not a bad thing. No, I am not saying war is good, because it's not. I'm saying that conflict can be constructive. And utter peace would get really boring after a while. That's why solitary confinement's considered torture, after all. So technically, if something has never existed, it would be impossible to restore it because in order to restore something, it has to have been there before. Pedantic, I know, but that's what you're here for.
From every nation, tribe, and tongue, all sorts of men he draws. And in their hearts and minds he plants delight to keep his laws.
Oh, really? I didn't know he was an artist. What's his favorite medium? Does he draw men with pen and ink, charcoal, crayons? Any gallery showing his work? It might be interesting to see that exhibition, especially the tongue part. But the second line is even more fascinating. He plants desire to keep his laws. Think about that. What do you think of when you think of someone who's a plant or something that's been implanted? It's artificial, not real. So he can't even convince these men that he's supposedly drawn and created to love him and all his laws. They don't want to do it. He has to make them. So he plants an artificial delight in his laws. That is creepy as hell, if it were true. And it affirms the most legalistic and rigidly fanatical brothers in the Kingdom Hall that they're always in the right and that their legalism and black and white thinking and cruelty at times is planted in them by Jehovah himself. I don't think this is real healthy.
With glory to our God in view, a welcome we extend to all without distinction and all sorts of men.
mind takes a minute to understand. So we are viewing God's glory now? I thought God's glory was too great for humans to view. I mean, Exodus 33:20. No, wait. That's his face. Never mind. I guess this is sort of like Hermione and Harry Potter looking at the basilisk with a mirror then. Never mind. Okay, so we are welcoming all without distinction and befriending all men. Since when? You know, when I was a Jehovah's Witness, we would invite anyone to the meeting, sure. But they'd get lots of stares and stink eye and maybe even a few giggles if they showed up in jeans or with tattoos or really anything that stood out to show that they were not Jehovah's Witnesses. You'd get a different kind of welcome then. Love bombing the first couple of meetings, naturally, but after that, the welcome would get decidedly cooler unless you started changing your look to match theirs and progressing in the truth or putting on the new personality. The Jehovah's Witnesses don't really befriend people either. They love bomb people. It's not true friendship at all because it is 100% conditional on your progress toward becoming a baptized Jehovah's Witness. If you stop studying, your friend, the pioneer, is going to drop you like you're hot. Funny story. My sister is really beautiful. You may have noticed if you've seen her, like model beautiful. And she loved, when she was younger, to be outrageously sexy. I mean, over the top sexy. Wearing thigh-high leather boots to the grocery store sexy. So she left the Jehovah's Witnesses as a teenager and embraced her worldliness with gusto, at least outwardly. So when she was in her early 20s on a visit to our house in South Carolina, because, you know, she was never baptized and thus didn't have to be shunned, my mom convinced her to go with us to the memorial one spring. The dress she wore was probably the most Jehovah's Witness appropriate thing she owned, but that's not saying much. It was, of course, polyester and floral, which was the style at the time, and it came down to her mid-calf, which for her was long, but it had been tailored to fit her exactly. Perfect.
And when a girl walks in with an itty bitty waist and a round thing in your face, you get sprung.
And it was super low cut, so she had enough cleavage for the entire congregation and then some. It was great. Well, the sisters all greeted her like this. Bye. And the brothers were all very happy to see her. At one point, there was like a line of dudes waiting to shake her hand and welcome her to the Kingdom Hall and offer her a study.
To copy God's large-heartedness is our privilege grand. As imitators of his Son, we should our hearts expand.
Y'all, cardiomegaly is no laughing matter. It's usually a result of high blood pressure or coronary artery disease, and depending on severity, it can cause congestive heart failure. I thought God was supposed to be perfect, and this says we're imitating his Son and not him, so does that mean Jesus has cardiomegaly also? Is it hereditary? Let's look at the second verse in 2009.
Thanks to our God for brothers such as these, who welcome us and who seek to please. May we keep holding men of that sort dear, and now we welcome others who meet with us here.
Thank you, God, for love bombing and codependency. Pleasing others is not a bad thing, y'all, but there has to be a healthy balance. And healthy balance is just not in the Jehovah's Witness vocabulary. This verse just says to me that witnesses are encouraged to assimilate and to imitate the most indoctrinated brothers and then spread the infection. I mean, bring in converts who will then imitate us and bring in converts who will imitate them, and you get the picture. It's sort of like selling Amway.
So let us urge all peoples that they too laud our King, rejoicing with his nation and as one his praises sing.
To urge is to try earnestly or persistently to persuade someone to do something, and to laud is to praise a person or their achievements highly, especially in public. So they're actively trying to persuade all people, and it should be people because the word people is already plural, to publicly praise Jehovah. Good boy! Why? What is the point of all the praising and singing? Is Jehovah so insecure that he requires constant petting? I mean, Carson doesn't even require that much petting. And he gets all this attention and praise and still doesn't do anything?
To that end we must dare proclaim in homes and on the street the good news of Jehovah's fame to whom we may meet.
So I don't understand why it's such good news that Jehovah's famous. And how famous is he really if we all have to go proclaim it to people, invading their homes and accosting them on the street? I mean, he can't be too famous or else all whom we would meet would already know about him. It's almost like he's a Kardashian. Famous for being famous, but not.
This honor thus to sing God's praise will never come again. These truly are the final days for all unrighteous men.
I never felt like this was an honor. Did you? These songs are awful. I'd really be fine without ever singing them again, to be honest. And I thought we were supposed to be singing his praise for all eternity in the new system. Weren't we? So what is this honor never will come again business? As for the final days, this song was published 36 years ago. 13,140 days ago. That is a lot of final days, y'all. It's kind of hard to keep up a sense of urgency for 13,000 days. That's long enough for some unrighteous men to just die of natural causes. Look, Jehovah's Witnesses, no matter how many times you repeat that these are the last days, it ain't gonna make it true.
So let us love our brothers always, letting God be true.
Well, I mean, it's not like we're the ones stopping God from being true. We can't just will him into existence after all. It's not like we're God or something. And if we don't love our brothers, does that make God a lie somehow? Also, isn't it weird how they tell us we have to love our brothers all the time? But they're talking about other Jehovah's Witnesses here, not our actual fleshly brothers. I always hated the way they say fleshly when they're talking about relatives. Yuck. Anyway, they were always reminding us that we have to love the other Jehovah's Witnesses. Now, why would they need to remind us of that so often? Well, it couldn't be because it's just not normal to have to love someone just because they go to a certain building regularly, could it? Usually, when you love someone, there's a reason. Like, they validate you, or you enjoy being around them. Maybe they're fun and interesting. You know, I don't remember any brothers in the congregation who made me feel that way. But if I didn't love the brothers, then I would be prohibiting God from being true? No pressure or anything.
Yes, welcome one another as God's word tells us to do.
Let's not and say we did. Actually, let's see what they did to this verse in 2009. Like an Evite? Is he sure it didn't get sent to anyone's spam folder? Because that happens. So if you don't accept the Jehovah's Witness religion, you're not sincere either. Nice. But not too wide. Remember that we all have cardiomegaly after all.